everyone has their own different abilities, you know, their own different talents, the things that they're good at. You might not know what it is. And I always say, like, maybe have, don't know, being kind to someone is an extraordinary talent because not a lot of people can do that. There are a lot of people that have had a lot of horrible things happen to them, but yet they still choose to be kind, and that is an extraordinary thing. Hey guys, so welcome to a new episode of the Kissline podcast. There's something we're going to talk about today, which is quite dark. We're going to get into, a lot, but I read this post that someone had put up, and I thought, damn, that hits home for me. And I just wanted to help anyone who's going through this right now. Like, this situation is really horrible, and it can affect us in hell of a lot of ways. Like, people, there are people like that abuse others, but they do it at like different levels of like abuse. Sometimes it's so subtle and, you know, it's so sneaky that we just don't even notice that it's actually abuse. Like, it's actually something that, is holding us back. It's limiting us from being the best that we can be. It's, you know, what other people are doing to us and how they're making us feel, and how they're making us feel like we have no worth. We, you know, it's just a horrible way, you know, is the things that they do to make us feel like crap. And this is actually also quite, it's not it's not funny. I was gonna, it's kind of funny that we actually do this to ourselves as well. We don't realize that we're talking to ourselves like actual crap. I mean, if you wrote down some of the things, that you say to yourself and then say it to your best friend, just get that list and say it to your best friend and see if, you get a red right hand mark on the face, on your face, um, or something silly. Um, it's not it's not great. And I was reading some story today and how their partners changed. And this personality type is something that I really hate because it actually affected my sister as well. We were in the same relationship with the same guy. No, we weren't. No, she was with someone that is kind of like describing this, and of course, like, you know, someone once said to me is, we have our lives judged by 10 minutes sometimes. Like, you got a job interview and someone's judging you within that 10 minutes. And, just go to, I don't know, view a house, which I'm doing soon. They're gonna judge you within that time. Okay. And when, the people meet, the first judgments can be made. And sometimes when we're starting a relationship, we're meeting someone new, they this person can hold themselves back. And we do hold ourselves back, but when it's like on a level that is manipulative, which this is what this person's going through and what my sister went through, I just full on had like, oh, we'll get into my story in a second. But like, they're like hidden, and sometimes it's just so subtle. It's just so subtle. But and again, yeah, it's on different levels, but God, it's really hard because it's like, first of all, if you feel like, you're worthless, someone's told you that you're worthless, if someone's told you that, yeah, you're not good for anything, you'll never live up to whatever you want to do, your dreams are worthless, your goals are worthless, everything that you do, the person that you are, is completely worthless. That is the biggest lie that you've told yourself and that someone has told you, okay? There is nothing wrong with who you are. I say it so many times. I'm getting this on merch. This is how many times I say it. We, you know, everyone has their own different abilities, their own different talents, the things that they're good at. You might not know what it is. And I always say, like, maybe have, I don't know, being kind to someone is an extraordinary talent because not a lot of people can do that. There are a lot of people that have had a lot of horrible things happen to them, but yet they still choose to be kind, and that is an extraordinary thing. Like, don't take that for granted. That is a really, really strong thing to do. You know, I always say it's absolutely necessary. Like, your talents, your abilities, your skills, everything that you can do, the person that you are, it's not worthless. It's like it's necessary. The world needs that. The world needs you to be yourself. The world needs like you to be the best that you are. They need you to live up to the potential that you are and that you have, sorry. But you do get these awful people in your lives. And again, you can choose wherever you want them in your lives. Now, this person that they're in a relationship with, and I'm like, run, get out now. Okay, just get out now. If you feel like someone's, you know how you're supposed to be treated, you know instinctively. And if someone's treating you like absolute garbage, making you feel worthless, do you really want that? Do you really want that in your life? You know you're worth more than how this person's treating you. A person can only treat you as well as they, as how good as they feel about themselves. So if a person feels like shit, they're going to treat like shit. Okay? And that's why it's an extraordinary talent to treat other people with such kindness. Always be kind, guys. Always be kind. This story, I just couldn't believe it. Basically, it's someone who has a problem, someone who wants to manipulate and control someone. So they're telling them that they're not good, that, they're making up stuff, gaslighting, horrible, horrible stuff. And they have the problem. And it's just awful that people get caught up and think that they can treat other people like that. Now, it's your job and it's your responsibility to make sure that doesn't happen to you. It's your job to say, no, you can't treat me like this. You have the problem. I'm gonna walk away because this isn't good for me. Okay. And this is on so many different levels, but it's only you that knows. You only know what's right for you. So you are enough. You are more than enough. You are so incredible. You as a person, like you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You listening. And you have the power. You have the power to not take any shit from anyone. And you have the power to say, hey, this is my life. I'm doing what I want to do. Ain't nobody gonna fucking tell me otherwise. This is your time. This is your life. These are your, you know, your, these are your gifts. And how dare someone say that they're not good enough? They're not worth anything. You know, it's, they are. Okay. I can't express that enough. They really are worth everything. And that's why you have them. And the world needs that. That's what the world needs. I mean, life can be such a beautiful thing, but we tell ourselves that it's not. Like, you can be so incredible. You can be absolutely limitless. There can be no limit on how, incredible that you are, but we do put them on ourselves. And that's again, like, is the person that is being cruel to you, is that actually yourself? And always say like, yeah, write that list, and if you treat your best friend how you treat yourself, you're not gonna have any friends. You're really not. And we have to watch that about ourselves. We have to, even I do it. I get caught up, and it's horrible that actually recently someone had made me feel like I wasn't good enough, and I was so scared because I do like this. I do like a like I love making metric pans, like women's. I want to go into a business for it, but I was just so scared to show myself on social media in that way. Like, well, I was just basically making an address. I was like constructing it, but I just felt like I wasn't good enough to do that. I was like, I'm not good enough to do this. People aren't going to want to see my face, and just like, I'm not ugly looking. I don't, people don't vomit instantly when they see me, but that's how I felt. Like, people were just going to think, um, yeah, I thought people were going to think, like, I don't know, like, really horrible things. And yet, that's not true. That's just what I was telling myself. And this is what we got to watch out for. We can tell ourselves, like, these little things. Doesn't mean that they're necessarily true. Doesn't mean, like, that's the reality everyone else is seeing. That's just the reality that you're choosing to see. That's the story that you're telling yourself. So I had to wipe that clean. I was like, okay, why don't I feel good enough? What do I need to connect with? Like, maybe, maybe I need to do more self-love practices like yoga, and, like taking 5 minutes and just reflecting on how amazing I am. Well, yeah, that's also a really great thing to do. But I did my three. That's not my three. It's not my technique. I got it off someone. Um, to write down three things amazing that happened to you that day, because I was clearly having anxiety. And this is like a thing so easy. You guys can do it. I have like this whole book about it. And it's like, what went well today? And I wrote down three things. It's like, oh, this happened. And even if you think your life's going great, I think it's still a really good practice to do. I think it's still a really good practice to do. Because you just never know. A life really does have its ups and downs. And if you're not, I mean, we can't always be strong all the time. There are days where it's just like, no, Netflix and chill and cry, because we can't always have that. But yeah, it's just up to you to take the time for yourself and do what's right for you. And it sounds like a bunch of hippy dippy hillooey, I don't know. But it really does work. And everyone has their own thing to do, their own way of it, their own versions. Doesn't necessarily mean you should just sit up straight, close your eyes, breathe a little bit. You can just reflect on the toilet. I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you what you want to do. Some people like pain, it's something that they're doing for themselves, and that's being spiritual. I really have that argument with people a lot, where people like, oh, being spiritual is like, God and, all this religion. I'm like, no, that's religion. I personally believe that being spiritual is getting to know yourself and who you are, and there are so many things that can help with that. And I don't think it was necessarily religion. I mean, I'm not like, I am actually, I've been christened, so I'm not like anti-God or anything. Um, but oh God, I have been christened. It's so funny. It's not funny. It's something I decided to do when I was like 18 or something. I was like, I'm gonna go get christened. Okay, bye. Um, but what was I gonna say? Yeah, spirituality is like knowing thyself. It's not anything to do with like, I like always have this in an argument where people um give it something to do with like ghosts and stuff, and I'm like, no, that is classed as pseudoscience, but that's not what I believe spirituality is. And I know it sounds like a whole lot of hooey, but getting to know yourself through like little practices, like um I have crystals like everywhere around me, and I absolutely love that. Um, I love crystals so much. And that's kind of, well, I don't know if that's why this podcast was kind of, I was like trying to do two things at once. Like, I was like being crystalline. That means like, being clear about who you are and what you can do as a person, like your potential. And I also love crystals, and I was like, I need to merge these two loves for myself. And yeah, so, but it's all about like little self love practices. If you find it really is so important that you do these things, even if you look at yourself and just say, like, I'm good enough, these will help you, find that inner strength, that like, that power I just spoke about like down the down the line a minute ago. Like finding that and finding out your value and your worth through like little self-love practices. And that could be just like, I don't know, maybe treating yourself, maybe buying a face mask. I don't know who's listening, but like, just treating yourself. Or I don't know, painting your nails, anything nice. I don't know what men do for self-love. That's really terrible, isn't it? Patting yourself on the back. I don't know what that is, but just being kind to yourself. Running a bath. Have a bath with salt. So we've all seen that Friends episode where Chandler's in the bath. Candles, bubbles, salts. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. And we can take the time for ourselves. But it's just not only that, it's also, I think standing up for yourself is one of the best acts of self love. Knowing what's right for you, doing what's right for you. There was a time when I lived in Cornwall actually, and I realized that what I did was actually the biggest act of self love. Because when I lived in Cornwall, I did nothing but kind of go downhill, nothing but degrade myself, degrade my worth, um, who I was, who I thought I was, who I surrounded myself with, the things I was doing in order to get a career was just an absolute struggle, and it was so stressful. And I moved back. I lived in Cornwall in the UK, and I moved back to Norfolk. And then I moved back to Cornwall. No, I didn't. No, I visited Cornwall, and I can't remember what happened, but I remember I was hungover. I was going to a gas station or a petrol station in England, and I think I was gonna go get coconut water or something. I was like, I just need a smoothie. I'm so hungover. But I think it was probably the way people were treating me like the next morning. I was like, damn, moving back to Norfolk, moving back, surrounding myself with the people that who love me and the place that's probably right for me was the biggest act of self-love I could probably do. Could possibly, probably freaking do. I was like, wow, that really hit me. Like, I still remember where I was and what I was like doing at the time. It's just I was walking, and I remember thinking that that was like a really big move for me. And I think if you did something like that and realized that, not everyone's right for you. And if you have to get this person out of your life, that's okay. There's so many other people in your life. It's absolutely okay for you to do that because it's a form of self-love. Say like, okay, it's like imagine like two, I don't know, flowers. Flowers, yeah. Imagine two flowers and you're one of these flowers and the other flower is treating you like shit. Like saying you're an ugly flower, you're never gonna be up to, good enough for anything. And then, I don't know what I'm trying to use. I'm just thinking of flowers, guys. Um, but you realize that you're not, and you give yourself such self-love, and you realize that you're worth more than you are. And I'm not gonna say water yourself, but that's it. You're like a seed, and if you take care of it yourself and water it, self-love, you're eventually gonna grow. And you're gonna allow like great people in your life, the great things in your life. Imagine that's like the sun, okay, guys? Imagine that's the sun, right? Got there? You with me? And so ridiculous. And you're gonna let that happen for yourself. Like all the good things in your life is like the sun, okay? And you're and what happens when you take care of yourself, you water yourself and you let the sun shine on you. You're gonna grow. You're gonna, reach your full potential. You're gonna do that. And if you don't listen to this person, who is the other flower, saying, "Don't water yourself. You're worth nothing. You don't deserve sun," you know, that's what's that other flower gonna do? Once you're growing in the sun, they're gonna fucking die in the shade. They're gonna not water themselves because that's how they feel about themselves. They don't water themselves, okay? They don't. This is so freaking weird. They don't, give themselves the opportunities that they deserve because nobody else treated them like they deserve it. But if you do that to yourself, you're gonna grow, you're gonna reach your full potential. Once they die, they're gonna wither away, and you're gonna be the best that you can be. If you choose to allow that in your life, you're gonna stay on that same level as them, and you're also gonna rot and die and wither away like them, sort of. But do you understand what I mean? Do you get it? I'm so strange. This is why I don't know. I do have friends. I was gonna say I have no friends, but I do have friends. Not a lot, but it's fine. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, do that for yourself, guys. Don't allow these people in your lives. You can so choose. You can choose like if you're honest with yourself. I think that's a great place to start. If you're really honest with yourself and what you want, who you are, who you know that you are. Like, it might take some time because you're so used to everyone else telling you who you are, but it's only that's just their perception of you. That's not who you actually are. That's not the reality. That's just the reality that they see through, they've grown up with like their own environmental backgrounds. They've grown up with people telling them bull crap, and they're just going to project that on you. That's not actually the reality of the situation. You're a completely different person to how others view you. People will always view you via their background, you know? So I just can't go over that flower shit. I'm so sorry. So it's up to you to choose who you want to be, the story that you want to tell yourself, how you want to, I don't say bless the world with your talents, but I think after the flower story, I think I could say whatever cheesy crap that I want right now. Um, you really do have this. And if you be honest with yourself and know what you want, what it is that you want to do with your life, if you be honest with yourself, every single person in your life will be the right one, and the wrong people will just go out. If you're honest with yourself, if you tell yourself, actually, I don't like you, I don't want you in my life, that's fine. Choose to cut them out. Do it. Run. Go. Right now. If you're honest, with situations, people aren't honest, with a job, they're like, I'm just in this job because blah. If you hate your job, if you realize that you hate your job, that's fine. Find a job that you love. If you don't like where you are right now, your life, what you're doing, be honest with yourself. Cry it out. It's 100% okay. Cry. It's fine. If you're honest with yourself, then you can find out what it is that you really want to do. Okay? You can find out, you know, who you are through it. And you can find out that you're not going to take the crap, the bullshit that you've been taking, the people that you've been treating like crap. It's such an act of self love to walk away from things that aren't right for you. And I say just do it. Like, I really like, I totally believe in you guys to do it, even though it would be messy at first. But in the long run, this is your life. This is, who you are. Are you allowing people to just like treat you like shit and walk all over you, stopping you from doing what you want to do, telling you that your dreams are crazy, that they're not worth anything, like because you're worthless? That is not true. That's just what they've been taught. But you've been taught different. If not, you would not be here right now. I always say that there's a millionaire walking around who invented the pool noodle. Okay? And there's a whole lot of beautiful, amazing, incredible entrepreneurs out there that are doing something that they go crazy. When the internet first came out, people thought that was crazy. But look at us now. What you want right now? How are you listening to this? Okay, so no idea that you have is crazy. Unless you want like world destruction. That's a whole other story. I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. So just take a look at yourself, take a look at what you want. If there is someone in your life, honestly, I know you feel like it's not something you can walk away from. It's not something, you can do. And I had this. I had someone that was really abusive to me, and I thought that there was just nothing else for me. But there is, and there was, and they treated me like crap. They just treated me not like nothing. I was nothing more than a body, and you know, it really, it really did affect me. Like it really did, and obviously, but they treated me like we would go out to a party or like just see the friends and or his friends and I would ask, I'd be like, oh, this generally happened. I asked, I was like, oh, should I bring my bag? And he was like, no. I was like, oh, okay. I don't know why I thought that because we were going out and I was like, oh, should I bring my bag? And he was like, no. I was like, okay. And so we walked out, we got to where we parked and we got out of the car and then I was like, oh my God, I forgot my ID. Like, 'cause you need your ID, of course. And it was in my bag. And then he turned around and was like, oh, that's just so typical of you, thinking that I'm gonna buy, you know, all the drinks for you. And I think that was like, it was like so many small subtle things that had just built up to that. And I like cried. I was like, no, because this is what actually happened. You told me not to bring my bag. And I was still with him, and I just don't know why, and it was just so wrong. But I walked away. I walked away when my nan had passed away because I really admire my nan and granddad's relationship. They like they met. It was quite early on. I think it was just after the war. I'm not actually sure what year it was. But they met, and 2 months later, they got married because just that life was just so precious back then. And obviously, you know, but they celebrated the golden anniversary and they were with each other until death did do them part. And it was just like, that's like what I want. Like, and I just walked out. Actually, I didn't walk out, and I really regret not just walking out and just leaving because uh, because I was with him. No, my nan passed away, and I just walked out. But I was such a good person. I was like, no, I'm just gonna say bye. And obviously, he'd objectified me, and I then walked away and really never spoke to him again. And even though he sent me like essays of like messages, I didn't read any of them. I really didn't read any of them because I walked away because I knew what I wanted, and I kicked him to the curb because I knew he wasn't worth. I knew I was worth more. I knew I wanted more. This is like, who I am, and this is what I want, and I'm going to get it. So it was just a really, it was so many like little things, and it was really horrible. It wasn't great because I was by myself. I felt so lonely. And when people are in relationships that make them feel like lonely, like the abusive, like they can't, make friends with anyone else, like it's you really can make friends with anyone that you want to, and you can have friends in your life. Nobody should ever freaking tell anyone that who they can and can't have in their life. Nobody ever should control you. I'm so against that in relationships. It is not okay if your partner tells you that what they want and how they want you to live your life. Run, because that's not okay. You can tell them, you can say, no, actually, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to do, and if you don't like it, tough titties, bitch, you can say that. But I honestly don't believe that, you know, that someone should be made to feel like, I even went to counseling. Like, I remember at the start of counseling, like, it was just there because obviously I was like alone. And the woman said because obviously I have Asperger's syndrome, so I kind of wanted to, you know, I still sometimes I didn't understand the ways of the world. Like I was like, why are people acting like this? What's this going on? And I'm really grateful that I have it. So I'm just like, I'm so strong right now. It's just how I feel. And I I started going to therapy and I went there for weeks. And I remember she even told me, she was like, I've noticed how depressed you've become because I was just so happy. I was like, oh, life and all things in it, amazing. And it really took a toll on me because I didn't feel like I really am annoyed that nobody noticed that I was being abused. Like, I'm really annoyed because it wasn't physical, it was emotional. And I was always quiet. Like, I was always quiet. And you should really, really, when they say it's the quiet ones you want to watch, you really have to watch the quiet ones because actually, there might be a reason why they're not speaking, especially in social situations, and why they're not allowed to speak. It's like, it was horrible like that. It was really horrible. Um, but I chose to walk away. Like, and I'm so proud of myself. I wish I didn't like say bye, but I'm so grateful. I'm so proud that I did walk away from that situation and that life. And I did see him before I moved back, and I could have said like, and I really want to go up to him and say, "Do you owe me an apology?" But obviously, he probably wouldn't have known what he'd done wrong because that's just who they are. That's just who he was as a person. I'm just so grateful for myself, and it's such an act of self love to do it. So, and I'm so much better off. I'm so much better off. Like, you just don't need people that treat you like that. Like, you absolutely don't, right? You deserve the best, okay? Because you are enough and you deserve everything that you're worth. And that's a lot. You are all worth a lot, okay? Like, you're all really freaking beautiful people, and you shouldn't be with someone that treats you like that, okay? Like, I've seen it with my sister. Like, I've seen everything. God, she was going through a domestic, and then someone, like that same person sent Valentine's flowers. And I remember we had to call up. We had to call up everywhere to find out who sent them and just say, don't allow this. Like, he was cheating on her. He was like, he like abused her, and they were taking her to court. And he sent her Valentine's flowers. I mean, Jesus Christ. What? And my sister didn't want to get rid of them because she was like, no, they're so pretty. And I'm like, I would, if that was me, I would have put them on the curb and put a sign said free flowers or something. Like, or just give them out to people. I know there's that weird gypsy thing that they do because that happened to me and my sister in London. We were like, This woman gave her a flower, and I was like, as soon as she did it, I was like, I think I've read something about this. Don't fall for that. If a gypsy gives you a flower, don't. So I really hope this helped you guys. You really do have the power to do whatever it is that you want in life. Tell yourself that I deserve better. And keep telling yourself that until it becomes your reality because it's true. And I know it's really hard. And sometimes you have to be really smart about what you do um, in order to survive. No, but yeah, but just tell yourself like that you really are enough. And I just can't say that enough, you guys. Okay. So have, just surround yourself with beautiful things. Have, beautiful thoughts. Like there's an affirmation if you want it. It's like I'm in control of what I think about, what I believe in, and what I talk about. I choose to fill my mind with beautiful thoughts. And you can also choose to fill your life with beautiful thoughts, guys. So really, my heart really goes out to anyone that's suffering from abuse on any kind of like scale, whether it's subtle, um, just someone telling them are really someone just saying a really horrible comment to you. Just remember that that's who they are. It's nothing to do with you. They're treating you like shit because they feel like shit. It's nothing to do with who you are. So it's hard just to brush it off your shoulder, but unfortunately, that's what you got to do because you just know that what they're saying is not true because you've worked on yourself enough to be the person that you want to be, okay? So I'm gonna leave it there, you guys. I really hope this helped. Getting my Instagram back. It's slow, but it's getting there. So follow me on there. Share your stories with me. It'd be great to hear from you guys. I'm gonna go now. I will see you next Monday. Or no, you will hear me next Monday, to be precise. Don't be afraid to speak up as well. Don't be afraid. Okay, I'm gonna leave it with you guys. And yeah, my heart goes out to you. And I want to say blessings to you all, but that's super weird. But yeah, you'll hear from me next week, guys. Okay, thank you so much for listening. Bye.